Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Shira. And Shira has a question about the idea of the elements and the quarters. And she has encountered a website which she sent a link to, which I'm not going to share for reasons which will shortly become obvious. And this website basically says that you must be oh so very, very careful dealing with the elements and keep them under strict control at all times or they'll wreak havoc in your life. And it introduces ideas like if you dismiss the element of fire incorrectly, your house will burn down, or other things at that level. And to be honest, I thought this was rather silly. And I thought that the website was rather superstitious and fear-based and did not represent what I would consider advanced magical practice. And my answer to the basic question, does this reflect reality, is that if this reflected reality, you would see a lot of magic users having all kinds of mishaps of this nature, which generally speaking you do not. Is it possible that you could have such a thing? Well, I suppose it is, because there are different ways of interacting with the elements. As a Corellian, when I talk about the elements, I'm talking about the physical elements of air, fire, water, and earth, but I'm also talking about a vast system of correspondences and symbolism that connects to them. And I certainly don't mean it in a literal sense when I say that everything in the universe is composed of these things, but rather it's composed of what they represent. So when I interact with the elements, I'm not doing it necessarily in the way that the people who made this website are doing, but I'd also be really surprised if they or anyone they knew ever burned their house down because they dismissed the element of fire incorrectly. And although I'm sure you can find someone who'll say that they did have this happen, I would question whether it might not have had more to do with how they dismissed their candles and how they handled the actual fire in the circle, and whether they were actually acting in a safe and practical manner, or other various possibilities that really have nothing to do with how they're relating to the elements. Is it possible to have a negative interaction with the elements? Well, yes, it is, and I'm certainly not saying it's not possible, but I am saying that it should not be something that happens easily in the ordinary running of one's life. And if the kind of magic that you have learned tells you that this should happen easily and lightly in your life, you might want to learn a different kind of magic, because why would you want that happening in your life when it doesn't happen in ordinary people's lives? Magic, if anything, should make your life better, and if it's not making your life better, you should not be doing it. And for me, interacting with the elements allows you to attune to certain things, to understand certain things, and have a better relationship with those things, not a worse one. And yes, I do believe there might be ways that you could connect to the elements that might be undesirable, but they would be undesirable, and you would not want to do it. And however the people who created this website are interacting with the elements, if they're really having the effects they describe, which I doubt, they're doing it wrong. And you certainly should not imitate them. You should rather look for someone who isn't having problems and imitate them. It's like, for example, if you wanted advice on how to make money, you don't go to someone who is poor, you go to someone who has money. If you want advice on magic, you don't go to the person who's having all kinds of problems because it's oh so difficult. You go to the person who can use it easily and well, and they will give you better advice. So those would be my thoughts on the subject, maybe a little more blunt than I usually am, but I thought it appropriate to the circumstance, and until next time, may you blessed be. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis, and did you know that I'm also a psychic reader? For over 30 years, I have been a psychic reader specializing in tarot and clairvoyance, and if you would like a reading with me, you can set one up, either by phone or by email, by contacting me at donlewishp@aol.com. And until next time, may you blessed be.